So I have people talk to me all the time about being a purpose-driven leader and why I talk about transitional housing with those being together. So in this episode today, I want to uncover, first of all, why we talk about what we talk about in this space of purpose-driven leadership and why we talk about it in transitional housing. Because I believe that they both go together really well. And once you understand, this is just the beginning. And I know that this is why this is the right way to go if you're interested as a purpose-driven leader to get into transitional housing. So let's jump right in. Now, let me say this. Transitional housing is truly not for everyone. And I get that. I love real estate and I love transitional housing. So, as a purpose-driven leader who has been that way my entire life, this to me is the best way to come in, being able to create something that is going to be so amazing to impact people. Now, you can be a purpose-driven leader and do something completely different. So I don't want you to think that you can't be a purpose-driven leader and not do transitional housing. But the thing I want you to consider when you're talking about being a leader and growing and expanding and building wealth, it's really hard to build wealth without considering real estate, because it's one of the best ways that you really can get into what you're called to do and do it in real estate that is an asset. And if you haven't heard me say, I talk about assets all day, every day. Like, I'm going to have to spend some episodes talking specifically about the assets that we really do. But if you can create a space for yourself that God has called you to do and include real estate, which one makes best sense? Transitional housing, clearly. That's why when you hear me talking about being a purpose-driven leader, I'm not just talking about whatever your purpose is and, creating a training or being a motivational speaker. All of those are being purpose-driven leaders. But when you can do it while in real estate, what better way than something that is truly going to transform your life? So that's why you'll always hear me talk about purpose-driven leaders who want to do transitional housing. That's what I'm good at. That's what I'm skilled at. And that's what I want to be able to show you to do. So that's why you'll always hear me talking about that. So that's number one. That's the number one reason why when you hear me talk about purpose-driven leadership, it includes transitional housing. All right? And let me tell you why then the next reason why, because we're talking about creating something that you know God has called you to do. And all of you who are listening to me right now know that when you're called to do something, it's great. It's not little, it's big. And those of you who are big thinkers like I am, you think big, what God is giving you, you need direction on how to get it, create it, and scale it. And scale usually involves more than just the thing you're talking about. So bringing you back to transitional housing clearly being an asset, real estate, that you can then create a program that transforms lives. Once you create that, you talk about where you go next with that. And typically, if you've done this the right way, it's more than the real estate. Many people, when we talk about scale, they think, oh, well, go get another property. No, not me. Now, you could, but I'm talking about how do you take what you have, you know it's solid, you've built it in a solid way, by the way, that's what I specialize in, is making sure that whatever you create in transitional housing is solid, that is sustainable with whatever you created, and you've piloted it, meaning you got it set up right, you know it works, and now that it's piloted, what do you do next? That's the part where we talk about scale, and we talk about how do we take that very thing that you have created because God gave it to you, and you take it to another level. That level is going to take you beyond real estate, okay? So that's why when you hear me talk about this, it's bigger than just the real estate itself. The real estate is where you will encompass your transitional housing program, but out of that is where you will scale it, where you will take it and say, okay, I now have it. What can we do with that? That right there, I'm going to tell you, is my love. That's my love language. I love helping people create something that is amazing. So those of you who are already doing transitional housing, I want to commend you. I want to clap my hands for you because you're doing an amazing thing, already creating something that works. You've piloted it, it works. But you need somebody that's going to help you get out of your head and build and grow it and scale it, where it's taking that very thing and finding 5 or 6 different, I want to almost say tentacles. That's not the right word. Streams. Thank you. Streams are so much better to say. But we're creating multiple streams from that very thing that you're building on. And that's where I can say, honestly, is my strongest skill set, is being able to help someone scale and get out of their head and build something phenomenal from what they've already built. All right? Or they've piloted. I like to use the word pilot because when you're setting a property up and you're setting up a program, you're testing it. You're in testing phase. This here is after you've tested it, you've piloted it, it looks good, let's scale. That's where my true gifts are. And as you think about scaling and you taking it and creating multiple streams, that's where those layers we keep talking about, building on, that's where you can exponentially grow it to the next level. That's where you can introduce some very strong partnerships. That's where you can create some collaborations. That's where you could take it across a nation, even globally. That is what I like that's where I like to really meet people is at that place, and helping you get to that level. But then there's a third piece we didn't even talk about. And that's where you build wealth. You hear and legacy, building wealth and legacy. And I can couple those two together, or separate them, depending on how we look at it. So as you think about what you have piloted, what you have scaled, and you've learned how to take that, and now we can talk about building wealth. That's where those layers come from. That's where, and how you structure clearly, because I want to get you before you get to the point where you're fully blown out structured like I've been, and where we really can help you focus on how you build wealth from that. How do you take what you currently have coming in, and let's just say generically, I'm just going to give you some generic thoughts here. Let's say that you have something that now generates you anywhere from 5, 10, 20,000 net. And you hear me say the word net because it's good to look at when you hear people talk about, oh, well, I made $30,000. I grow, they're really talking gross numbers. They're not really talking net numbers. After everybody's been paid, everything's been done, what do you have left? That's where I really like people getting to, so we could talk about how you build wealth. And let me just throw this out there. Do you know most people think wealth is how many dollars they have in an account? That's not wealth. We're not talking about how many dollars are in an account, currency, as they call it. We're talking about truly taking something and converting it into wealth. So let's say that I have for you, you're bringing in and netting $20,000 a month, right? And that $20,000 a month coming in as currency, taking it and knowing what to do with it. Now, those of you who are in my VIP, you get the breadth of the details I'll be talking about as it relates to building wealth. But we're talking about making sure you're structured right so that as that money is coming in, you're doing what's right by it to convert it into something that's tangible, converting it into something that you can grow from. I've been doing this for 15, 16 years, and I can honestly say from having a HELOC, a $50,000 HELOC, I was able to take and create over a $2 million portfolio. All from that one asset of a HELOC. If we want, I don't really call that an asset, it was currency. We had currency that converted that allowed me to grow a portfolio over 2 million and to be able to navigate it in a way in which we've built wealth. Okay? Those are the type of things I want to carry you to, is teaching you some elements around conversion, where you're converting that currency into something that is tangible. That's what you really want to do. And honestly, as you convert into what a tangible asset is, everyone knows real estate clearly is a tangible asset. You've got precious metals, tangible assets. You've got some of the things that you can use that actually create wealth. Those are the things I'm talking about you doing. So as we position you into that space, and I'm going to end with my very last piece on legacy. And before we get into that, if you've not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Subscribe, get notifications, and also join my school community at tonyschool.com, TONISKOOL.com. Going there gets you access to the information that I'm sharing with you right now. It starts you off into this conversation. So those of you that want to be a part of that conversation, join today. And if not, continue watching me on YouTube. I'm happy either way. But as we look at moving you from a position as a purpose-driven leader into piloting and creating a sustainable transitional housing program into where you can then scale it and grow it into something that then will build you wealth, now we're talking about legacy. Well, what is legacy, Tony? Legacy is something you can pass on to your children, your grandchildren, future generations, and they can say, this is what my grandmother, this is what my grandfather did, and this is how they made a difference. Those are the type of things we're talking about doing for people like you, who are purpose-driven leaders that want to grow and create something that will utterly change the course of your family. And if that is you, then you need to be a part of what we're building and growing. We are now in a position more than we ever have been in over a decade, I would say, to get into something as phenomenal as this. Because as you look at our economy and transitional housing, or affordable housing in general, does not look good. There aren't opportunities for affordable housing. And there's not a lot of opportunity teaching people this very thing. There are people just simply placing people into houses and they're existing, while others may be growing. My desire is to create people who want to win and create something amazing as they help people transform their lives, as they help people get into position to where they too can change the world. That's what I'm talking about doing. Those are the people I'm seeking to reach out to. And if that's you, join me. I'm really trying to see which way I need to look so I can look you in the eyeballs. I think it's right there. But I want you to get to the point where you are transforming someone else's life. When you are doing that, we can truly change the world. So I hope this episode touched you today. Those of you who are interested in being a purpose-driven leader who wants a solid transitional housing program, I am excited about working with you. And for those purpose-driven leaders who just aren't ready yet, or you feel like there are other ways that you want to do it other than transitional housing, guess what? You can contact me too. I would love to be able to reach out to the world and show them what is possible through honoring what God has called you to do. And I can align with you in that space so that God can truly use you and take you to where you are changing someone's life, whether you're doing transitional housing or not. So I hope this was great for you. I look forward to seeing you at the next episode, and let's talk. See you then.